once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, surprising myself every time. It seems to be different. What's going on, man? And yet it's the same old thing. Brothers and sisters, welcome back. If this is your first time here, someone invited you and this is new to you, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm feeling truly inspired. I'm starting a little bit earlier than I scheduled. I'm excited to get started again today. I hope you can receive the fun and the joy that I feel with the ideas that are bouncing around inside of me, right? I'm feeling pretty filled with hope and inspirations. And please, share the thumbs up, a little brotherly love, man. That's what it's about. I'm gonna drop the link here in a little bit. Yeah, we'll see what the universe brings up. But for those of you who are here, sincerely, thank you. Let's jump right into things. In the background is the idea of peace and presence, and then a bunch of other Talcottian ideas. The Tal quote today, kind of pointing out the obvious again. That's what I do. But here's a little obvious from me to you. Honest people, they live with authenticity and they move with integrity. And we'll get into some ideas of those words today, hopefully. You know, the idea further, choose to be true. Choose to be amongst the true, the honest, who live with authenticity, who move with integrity. Choose to be true for yourself and others. Because think about the alternative. What is the alternative to honesty? It's a path filled with guilt and shame and conflicts and pain. It's not worth it. The path of growth, development, health, fulfillment, that is found through a love of truth alone. A love of truth alone. Now that means on your own, independent of others. And that also means nothing besides the truth. Those two are true. The path to growth, development, health, fulfillment is found through a love of truth alone. At least that's from my experience. But praise God for our life experiences. I mean, the gift of life, it really, truly is magical. It's unbelievable to me that we get to live and then that we choose to collectively live the way that we do with all this economic disparity and real life violence, trauma. It makes no sense to me. And yet this is the way that it is. Praise God. Praise God indeed. The topic and the title today, do you enable self-sabotage? Do you enable self-sabotage? Maybe a thought you haven't considered. Do you enable self-sabotage in yourself? If you look at you honestly and the experience of you, do you invite self-destruction? It might not be intentional, but it'll happen. It'll happen until you're honest. You're honest about your behavior. Because when you're honest about your behavior, you don't try to hurt yourself. You sure don't try to hurt others. But that's exactly what manipulators and liars will do. They'll hurt themselves, they'll hurt others. So if you ever deal with an addict, okay, the addict is going to continue their behaviors until they choose to change. It's the way we're designed, right? Every one of us has this idea of free will. We get to do what we want. So the reality is, though, this reality we share, it's all based on consequences, right? Cause and effect. Choices have consequences, they bring results. Not all results feel good. Some are kind of numbing, right? That's why an addict does what they do. They try to numb. They know the consequences of their choice. I knew what would happen when I drank. I'd feel better. So what else was I supposed to do? So through my addictions, I'm a recovered addict, at least as far as booze is concerned. That's for sure. But I used to see myself self-sabotaging on a daily basis, doing what I knew wasn't good for me. And I didn't know how to stop. But the reality is until I chose to stop, I was enabling my self-destruction, poisoning myself with alcohol and booze and whatever other chemicals that Budweiser puts it and Bush put into their products. Golly geez, the stuff I've consumed in this life, the stuff that people consume in this society, in the Western world where we're all civilized. You think about where things come from, what it took to get something to your plate. Ooh, baby. Sorry, my mind went way off on that already. So you know what? Because my mind can drift, and I'm already aware of my potential to interrupt myself. I actually am a very social creature. Hey, brother, thank you. I'm glad I made it out of that lifestyle as well. It is by the grace of God that somehow God allowed me the awareness and the consciousness. And you know what? It was love. This is my testimony. And I think God allowed me to escape that lifestyle of addiction and self-abuse, comfortably numb in my good job, right? I was a functioning alcoholic, but I couldn't function without my booze, is what I told myself. And it showed. When I didn't have my booze, I'd get the shakes and stuff, and I was just a miserable wreck. God. The funny thing is those who thought I was normal then think I'm crazy now. You seriously can't make this shit up. God is so incredible, man. God really is so amazing. I put the wording today to try joining as a guest with Jack today. For those who've been around, you realize not everybody does make the cut. Not everybody will make the cut. That's the way the facts work out, man. You either cooperate, share respect, or I really will not put up with you being around. That's to the folks who are wondering, should I jump in? You know what? We live in this amazing existence, this experience of life. It is very, very, very easy for all of us to talk ourselves into a pity party, right? And in our pity party, what's absurd will make sense. The idea of burning our property or burning this or destroying that or reaching out for revenge or whatever. Just stupid, ignorant, evil thoughts can creep into the mind that's feeling hurt, confused, angry. So, to bring us back around into a bigger picture and the topic, do you enable self-sabotage? I allege that you do. All of us do. We're all allowing individuals to destroy their own lives through the choices they can freely make. But see, these are signs that I see of a corrupted society. We're so divided. We're so confused where the power is. Nobody knows what direction to go. Everyone's got an answer, though. It's absurd and crazy what the world is trying to deal with people. Holy cows, man. They don't drive you nuts. You try and deal with people. If you haven't worked in customer service yet, you may not understand, right, fully. But those who do, those who work in customer service or some sort of interaction with the general population, holy crap. You start to see why we've got police and all these crazy rules and stuff, because people are crazy when they don't have God. See, when they don't have a relationship with wisdom and love, they start living without compassion. When they don't feel the compassion around them or within them, they start feeling real defensive and alone. And when a man or a woman feels defensive or alone, they're capable of pretty much anything. It's like cornering a rat. That rat will jump, it'll attack. Right? People are the same way. You never know what a person's gonna do. But what I've been finding, and let me get this through, and I hope it comes through clearly, because praise God. Do you enable self-sabotage? I allege that we all do. We're enabling Donald Trump and the men and women in the United States Congress today they're damaging themselves and their legacies, especially the diplomats who are actively raising their hands in veto against ceasefires. Okay, the people who are representing America, the concept of this land of the free, they're doing a poor job. And self-sabotage, it brings self-destruction. And the selfish, that's exactly what they do. So it's time for, I believe, Jack Talcott's words. I'd like to have words with Donald Trump to help him prevent himself from further self-destruction. I know he's got this idea of having a great legacy from his time in office, running in this position as president. But brother, you're being advised to go the wrong way. You're following bad advice. Okay? You're being used as a pawn. What's the term? Controlled opposition. You're doing contradictory to what you want. You say you want peace, but you're going the wrong direction. Words to Donald Trump and the men and women in Congress. Okay? It's time for better. It's simple. You humble yourself to the truth of that which is here and now, and all that ever was, in whatever forms it presents itself. You humble yourself into the knowing that this and you are here because you are a great, significant part of God's plans. History is being lived out by us all right now. Don't know what you've heard in the news, but there's criminal behavior that's being perpetrated under the disguise of the law. It's evil being perpetrated. What the state of Israel is doing and the American government is enabling is atrocious. It's unacceptable. We all know it. You bring in the other individual parts of Mr. Trump and his presidency, how he got to where he is, what was involved. He still has done nothing to these Epstein files, right? Congress and those around him have been enabling this. Now, I don't know who needs to do what, but it's time to stop enabling criminals. Criminals are truly destroying themselves. They're sending themselves and those around them to hell. Let's rise above the hell together. I'm confident that the message of Jesus and the will of God is for mankind to overcome our stupid disagreements. Stop pretending like these beliefs are so important that we can't get along. That's foolishness. See, that's convictions of the devil. The devil works through division. And who do you want to win? Surrender to the fact that love wins. In the end, this world will be united with the truth, with love, because that's what the universe brings. It's the only logical conclusion for humanity. We cannot continue these same theatrics. Political theater is what Washington, D.C. is. Real human lives are the consequence, right? I don't remember the countdown. I think it's been 8 days or something that the government workers have been furloughed and locked out. Donald Trump is bragging about it. Saving money, right? That's what the true capitalists say, man. Hey, blessings to all of you. Edward Cam, DC does need Jack. And I'm just a 2-hour commute from here. I'm going back without any true destination or connection. I'm heading that way again soon. I found excuses again today with the weather, but you know what? It inspired me with lots. And Rose, thank you. Thank you. I try to maintain some dignity in my appearance, despite the overgrowth of the hair and the whiskers and stuff. Blessings, Frank. You see it. Thank you. And I'm hoping this is the case. I don't mind being the one in front. I don't mind being the spotlight. But I do hope to be, right, kind of an instigator into creating some greater change, some reformation. My idea earlier of speaking about self-sabotage and kind of words specific to individuals, I don't think it came out the way I wanted, but I was thinking it might be an easy way to clip that and get direct words to Donald Trump through Truth Social or any of the other people. What's his name? Musk. There's so many. You know what? We are so connected in this day and age. We really are. Every human being is connected to others in some way. This 6 degrees of separation that, whatever it was, came out. That is so true, especially for me. This is what got me with these world-changing ideas, was I knew people. I knew people all around the world. And so I imagined if I could be a success and travel worldwide, well, I've already got people I can visit and stay with. Reduces costs, makes things easier, convenient. And that was before I got on YouTube. So now, man, Now my vision is confirmed. I am confident. This Live Without Fear and this mug, Jack Talcott, this character's going worldwide in positive ways. And not just for notoriety or what's the term? Going viral for entertainment. No, man, no. History's going to reflect the truth. And the truth of my intent, my intention every day is to create a more positive, maybe hopeful, to bring more positivity, encouragement, so love. Some of the ideas that I invested money into learning, I'm hoping to share those, right? Without disrespecting any of the people I've learned from. They've got formal steps and all that lined out. And I ain't divulging that. Praise God, man. But the thing is once you start looking at the principles of success being taught through others in whatever field you want, there's people, teachers, scholars, there's others who are teaching and showing how to do things in different ways, whatever path you're on. And if you start looking at the principles of what people teach, I looked at the principles of success and healing. It all comes down, everything I looked at, it all came back to what Jesus was teaching, the intention of Jesus. The will of God is for you and I to love one another. Is that hard for you? It might be, because I know I can be a dick sometimes. I can just be downright offensive. And if you think you got me figured out, man, God's going to throw us both a wild card. Because spontaneity, man, that's how love is. The Holy Spirit. You live with the Holy Spirit. And what is holy? Nothing is more holy than love. But love comes through in many different forms, many subtle variations. But those subtle variations, there's a distinct difference. Love is truly the way to be. The only way to be is with love. That's what the Buddhas were teaching. That's what Jesus demonstrated. But the crazy thing is, and it makes sense from the bigger picture of why it would be this way, the idea of rising up like Jesus, oh, you're going to get murdered, you're going to get tortured, you don't want to be like that. And then you got the example of Martin Luther King Jr., right? He starts rising up and he gets taken out. Other people who rise up, they get taken out. Well, that gets people afraid of rising up. What's the point of living if you're not willing to rise up against injustice? I couldn't find any reasons. Once I started accepting the fact that there was problems in this world greater than just my own, I figured, you know what, Jack? You've been blessed. Why don't you do a little bit more? Why don't you see what more you can get done? And I've been trying. I started out, my big goal at first was just to make the United States Postal Service. I knew if given the chance at the headquarters level, I could help it become a better place to work for all the employees. And then as the organization works to improve the climate and the welfare of the employees, well, they would see the productivity increase. The customers would see the return in value during what I knew was possible for us. So that was my first goal. I tried to make the United States Postal Service a little bit better place to work. And then I went to the community I was in at the time. That was in Spokane, Washington. I went to city council, got involved with several of the nonprofit organizations. I felt I was really pretty in tune, even got in tune with some of the the alternative lifestyles, the circuit of comedians and artists, and some of the hippie fests that go on. So I felt I was well connected and in tune with a lot of different things. And my purpose has always been to try and help it be better. So things brought me to thinking bigger, right? What's the easiest way for me to connect? Because initially, I don't mean to bounce around, but this is for those who aren't aware of my story, kind of the progress of me. After my days of drinking, and I got kind of shooken out of the fog of my depression and my self-loathing, I started getting the idea of improving, right? And I got addicted to learning. And I felt good learning new things and implementing new ideas into my life. It made my life much more simple in many ways, but where was I? I took myself off and I brought up this past for a reason. This is a perfect time for an interruption. Thank you, Noah the Great, for the contribution. How much for you to do an El Perro mustache? This is no. See, I will do the stupid and foolish things for a purpose. I've got to have a purpose, and money ain't gonna do it, right? I don't really care about money, and I won't sell myself out just for some fiat. Now, if you're talking about contribution, opening doors, creating movement in my progress online or offline in any way, well, now we could be negotiating. There could be an El Perro mustache. I'm willing to do what I'm willing to do. I consider myself pretty reasonable. But truly, this is it. Gabriel's Trap House Gains. And if you will, please share your link. That's another channel that deserves some attention. And he's got a lot of great things already coming out and a lot of great things coming up. So a little shout out for Gabriel's Trap House Gains. Try to learn something about everything and everything about something. That is, I can say, the path I've been on. I've learned of different topics and heard the details to convince me of these bigger picture ideas, like miracles exist and reforms available and healings available. I've been convinced because I've learned a little bit about a lot of different things. Now, I'm not able to explain with detail, the things that convinced me. That's where part of my downfall has been. I get the bigger pictures, but this is what I've been doing. I found out when I remembered that I love to learn. Initially, what I wanted to be is more like Jesus. I thought, well, if I'm going to be more like Jesus, well, what does he know? How do I know what he knew? Well, I can't. But if he knew God, he would know everything. And that's what I was thinking. Well, what can I learn about everything? I started looking into all sorts of things, the things that fascinated me, the things I felt drawn to learning. And keep in mind, I lived a life of an alcoholic, of an addict. I literally drove myself insane because of my thought patterns, because I didn't know how to think clearly. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing that to myself. I didn't know how to think clearly. And so the question for all of us, do you enable your own self-sabotage? How often do you allow yourself to pause, to reflect, to consider, to make sure that the choices you make are made with clarity and purpose and intention. How often do you look at you to avoid self-sabotage? If you don't know that's a potential, well, I'm here to warn you, okay? I'm here to warn you that you have the potentiality to sabotage yourself without even realizing it, okay? It's real easy for you to become the greatest enemy of you, to talk yourself out of all sorts of success, all out of all sorts of love and joy. But if you pay attention to you, you'll stop enabling self-sabotage, the limiting thoughts, the negative beliefs, the things that make you feel inadequate or lacking. If you empower yourself, with the will and love, and God allows you, right? If God allows you the strength and will and idea to empower yourself, you can definitely stop your self-sabotage, because the mark is perfection. Why not? God creates perfection, so align with perfection, perfection of word, perfection of heart, of love, okay? That's the example to embody. We all stumble, we all make mistakes, but if you convince yourself to ignore your mistakes, you convince yourself to ignore the mistakes that people around you are making, you might be enabling self-sabotage. And I truly do. I care about you because you are a reflection of me. And we share this earth, this Mother Earth, who's so beautiful. There's so much diversity. I was reminded of that. I saw a beautiful high definition documentary involving the ocean, the aquatic diversity, the natural diversity of Mother Earth and all of nature. Let's live long and explore it together. Let's create a world where we can live long and enjoy the life we're living. I'm pretty sure that's God's will for us. If the world was filled with people committed to being perfect with love, perfectly honest, willing to correct ourselves, but most importantly, as with the thumbnail, right? Living with authenticity, moving with integrity. And here, let's elaborate on that. To live with authenticity, it's to align your life with your true self, including your values, beliefs, feelings, and your unique qualities, rather than conforming to the external expectations or pressures. So to live with authenticity is to just be true to you. But seriously, especially with us men, many of us men, because of the societal archetype and the societal norms, many of us men have been taught to deny our emotions, to never cry, to never show weakness, especially if there's women around, which is funny because it seems they're the ones who are there to help us through our weaknesses. See, we're here to learn from each other, but to become whole and true, we've got to be honest with our emotions, okay? If you're feeling a loss, you've got to give yourself permission to be honest with yourself and feel it, okay? It's all right to cry, but you don't need to stay in the tears either. That's where the maturity comes in, and maybe through practice, right? Through practice, you realize, oh, fuck, this again? All right. Cry, let it go. because the reminder I found is these mental pains, mental sufferings that happen when life brings changes. Life brings changes. Shit happens. People misspeak. People lie. People betray. It happens, right? The key is just, sorry, I lost track of where I was going with that. I was just remembering all the times, all the practice I've had. It's truly about letting go. The key for all of us is to let go. People make mistakes. Every mistake is forgivable to some extent. This idea of sin, the religion has a lot of important messages for us. And truly, the message and teachings of Jesus, they're the perfect ones for a reason. He was perfected with word and and thought in the execution. What's recorded and passed down to us, he did God's will flawlessly. So let's just accept it as that. He was the shining example for you to follow, for me to follow. And what I found is it's a lot easier to follow good examples when you've got others to help you, right? You start working together towards the same goal of creating teachers, leaders, healers, explorers. That's who we are by our nature. We're all students of life. We're all examples for each other to learn from. Jesus is the perfect one, man. There's a lot of mysteries to life, and he seemed to have it figured out pretty well, like bringing up miracles and walking on water. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know, but in my heart, that the character identity of Jesus and that name, because that's what I grew up with. I've learned that maybe something else, but that is something special to me. See, the ideal of perfection. I figured in my when I was a kid, I figured there had to be a way. There's got to be a way to be perfect like that. I tried and tried. I couldn't figure it out, but I tried and tried on my own. I didn't have God. I didn't go to God. I was just like stubborn and naive and stupid and selfish. And the example I was is a good example of what maybe not to be. But in other ways, I did make a lot of honorable choices. I continued to sacrifice myself because I didn't have any self worth. I'd give myself away to Uncle Sam for nothing more than a paycheck and a shelter. Praise God. Jeeps. You are such a character. I truly do enjoy you. You annoy the hell out of me sometimes, and other times I'm just so endeared to your loyalty. Not just to me either, but especially to Paul. I see it there. And maybe it's, I don't know. Jack drifted twice already in 30 minutes. He needs backup. I am a complicated mess. I know there's a lot of potential in me, and I'm working on getting me better. But when I've got a team in my life again, oh man, I'm going to be so much better. We're going to have probably some graphics and more sounds and clips, maybe even more of a format and consistent schedule. There is so many ways this Jack Talcott channel can improve. So please, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, make sure to stay notified and stay tuned, because we really don't know We really don't know what we don't know. Arpol, you're another one, man. Thank you for the continuing support. There's really been so many of you. There's really been so many of you that have been such a great, consistent, and positive part in this experience. I really do wonder, where is our future going to take us? Oh, I didn't get all the way through it, right? Because the thumbnail today, honest people live with authenticity, move with integrity. And I don't know if there's a lot of difference between the two, but it's kind of the same thing again. To move with integrity. I mean, this is what it means to be true to yourself. To move with integrity means consistently aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with your deeply held values and principles, especially when it's difficult or no one is watching. That's truly how you move with integrity, being authentic to you. Now, one of the things I do caution people on, sincerely, hey, TJ Yao, Truthful Ministries, all those listening, regardless of time, because prayer and God go beyond the time. It's through the love and the power of words. And please, we join. We join together. Prayers for mercy, for your strength and mercy upon you, that your suffering ends, your strength is restored, your humor, your ministry, your joy be quickly returned. Blessings to you and to any others who may be suffering. May that be true for you, that you find the strength, that God allows you to discover the strength that you didn't realize you had, right? Until you face that test, that struggle, that pain. And may God's mercy be with you, right? Realize that despite the situation, perhaps God is still being merciful. You know, I never like to say that, but what about if, scenario that never helps us in the middle of a struggle, that's for sure. But it is true. And in my own path, when I was alone and trying to figure things out, these are the things that helped me. I remind myself that a lot of my problems here in the Western world are pretty insignificant, considering what other human beings are dealing with. So there's that, and knowing that there really is nothing new under the sun. Anything I've faced, someone else has faced a version of. Okay. And for every problem, there is a solution. Even if I may not have the tools and the idea, the solution, the knowledge is a tool, or maybe I don't have the resources or, the actual tools to solve a problem. And hey, brother, you know this, and I know you know this. God's mercy, love, joy, strength, and having humor in life again. God is still merciful, even in the worst struggles. Sometimes it's hard to recognize because the pain is real, the loss is real, the struggle is real. However, restore yourself, give yourself permission to restore yourself to God's perspective rather than the humble and the insignificant perspective. Bring yourself to the perspective of the Most High and realize that power is with you. There's a purpose to this. We may not know it, but we can rejoice in the fact that we are. That's what the key is, brothers and sisters. Rejoice in the fact that you are. Start celebrating all of your blessings. Be willing to share all your goodness, all your blessings. Be willing to give it away. Because why not? Why would you not want to feel good about what you've already received? Why would you not want to feel good about sharing the abundance you've found? I mean, rather than just see, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Right now, I don't even know who I'm talking to. I'm just some dude sitting here talking to myself in a room, and I hope you're enjoying it. I'm seeing the internet signal, and I'm hopeful the sound and everything is coming through. Amen. Ascending ancient, perfectly timed. Jack, get in the now, man. Get in the now. What are you doing, Jack? What is your purpose? My purpose is to be who I am. And who I am, I feel I am honest. I feel I live with authenticity. I feel I move with integrity. Here's something I do see people doing, though. As perhaps it might be the men, might be the out of balance masculine, the one that's committed to an idea, committed to a principle, committed to a value, and there's no deviation. That's not always healthy. Okay. Because in life, to grow, one must adapt. So the thought came up with my own thinking, who I am and what I've learned. See, the reason I am so confident about reform and the reason I believe I can achieve a conversation with Donald Trump and or the sitting members of Congress collectively, exceptions to policy. Become for yourself the exception to the rule. Become for yourself the exception to policy. Now be righteous. Don't be selfish and rude and uncaring in your defiance of the rules, in your defiance of your past. Be righteous in your growth, meaning go for that which your heart would love for you to achieve. Go for that which, the people who know you, the people who love you, go for that which they really know you can be. I hope this is making sense. But my thought was today, if we stop enabling the self-sabotage, right? If you see someone making mistakes and you know they're going to have to stop making that mistake eventually, maybe we can prevent some regret. Because the longer a person continues living with an unrecognized problem, the more time they're going to keep making the mistakes. And making those mistakes, it brings more guilt, more shame. So, hey, today is a new day. Oh, I didn't see. Blessings. We've got a guest. Welcome back. Not enough
Hello,
again.
how are you doing?
I truly feel blessed. How are you today?
I feel like today's been a pretty good day. I'm feeling inspired in some ways, right? And I've been taking some opportunities to look into I mean, I'm always doing this, but a lot today and yesterday with the astrological elements of our lives and how I can understand myself better, how we relate in certain ways. And I know a lot of people might call it woo woo, but for me, it just helps me understand. And then people want to ask me, well, can you explain it to me? And for me, it's one of those things that's just always better if you pursue that on your own. However, the point of me bringing this up is that I believe I'm listening to what you've been saying for the last 30 minutes, and I've been thinking about something that I see in you, which is a perfectionism, right? Do you want some things to be perfect and you have high expectations, and that is a good thing. I think it's a hard thing to manage. Sometimes I can only speak for myself, but I also have a conflict within me that I often have two modes of operating. One is the let's get stuff done, let's go ahead and make stuff happen right now, like let's go ahead and let's hurry and get there. And then there's the other aspect that says, well, that's not good enough. I can do better. And I kind of see that in you as well in a much different way, because your goals and your sort of ambitions are the most high and perfect they could possibly be. because it's literally ending wars, and nothing is really more admirable than that, right? World peace. It's kind of a cliche for a reason. So I'm feeling inspired, and I mean, maybe this is even a better to be had offline conversation, but I wanted to discuss some concepts with you, because I have had a habit of doing things too quickly and being too in a hurry. And I don't know, I feel like this is a time for refinement. I think this is a time, and I see you kind of doing the same thing, right? You're trying to make your streamlining your processes, from what I can tell, at least with the morning show and this, and trying to work out some kinks. And I'm feeling as there is a divine timing to that aspect of you doing that, because regardless of whether or not we do anything together, I encourage the process.
Thank you. I respect and appreciate that. And we've had our challenges, our difficulties in communicating in the past, but we are a part of something pretty significant here at this time of history. If it ever becomes anything or not, our conversations each day are a recorded part of history, right? And whatever we're working towards, this is evidence of that. Now, we're living an amazing story. Humanity is. I may be taking us way off of conversation, and
It's
I don't
okay.
mean to do that.
It's okay. It's your show. I'm just cupcaking.
Thank you. I really didn't. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to just see. This is me working on me. I'm paying attention to me and trying to be a better person, right? More considerate, more attentive, and certainly do a better job of listening. It's up to me to overcome my reactions. And it's my theory that God is using me for an example. My testimony, overcoming the addictions of alcohol, the sudden weight loss and physical transformation that way, the spiritual transformation I'm still working on. But Landry, you joined into something that most people don't see what's happening like I do. Okay, that's for sure. My perspective is unique. And what I'm pointing at is what's going on with this YouTube stuff and the panelverse. We stumbled into something unique. Now, can we create something amazing from it? I think we can. But it still requires the participation, not just those of the other co-creators, broadcasters, but more so about the viewers and the audience. Because whether we succeed or not, part of that is in the algorithms, part of it is in the audience, the viewers who are willing to repost, share, tell others. And a great part is the individual and the content. I'm getting more comfortable in me and my content.
That's good, man. Well, I want to leave you here with one last thing, and I got to run. I just wanted to say, maybe if I guess I'm opening the door for maybe an offline conversation about some ideas, and if you're willing later on today, tomorrow, we could talk. But I shit, I was gonna say something else. I got to pee really bad, man. I'm sorry, my mind's not working. But thank you, and I guess let's connect soon.
Much respect.
Short and sweet.
Beautiful. And you're welcome to return when you wish. And I may follow up with more readings. This Teddy Spaghetti, Jack, were you once addicted to AA because you seem like a hardcore AA guy? I actually wasn't. I got bored of it pretty quickly, to be honest. I saw the value in it. And my dad he's been a supporter and active with AA. So I don't diminish the program or what it does at all. But no, I wasn't addicted because I didn't enjoy it, to be honest. Um, and so I'm also kind of a loner. I'd prefer to deal with things on my own, but admittedly, I got so deep in my addiction, I had no clue where to turn, had no clue what to do. I couldn't imagine any other way of living. Did I do all the steps? Yes, absolutely. I actually worked with a sponsor. Did I have just one? I think I had two. Um, but there was one consistent one. We went through all 12 steps, and they then we parted ways. My family, I don't know what my family does. I don't know if I can, I don't know. AA is basically a cult. It's not, it can be. There can be cult like appearances to the program. Okay. I won't deny that perspective. However, it's similar to a religion, more similar to a religion, perhaps. People cling to a book and to the rules of the book and to the processes and the patterns that bring miracles. So there's people who treat the AA big book. I don't think I have one of those around. There's people who treat that AA big book much like people treat the Holy Bible. They're books of wisdom. Wisdom is truly to be respected. Wisdom is to be honored. Wisdom is to be revered, perhaps. I mean, that's truly what makes Jesus and the Buddhas, makes those people worthy of worship, was their wisdom, the wisdom they offered to the people, and the experience that that wisdom brought forth. But it's not so much the individuals that we want to focus on. We want to focus on the Almighty, the one God that allows the multiplicity to think it is real. You and I, we are the multiplicity that thinks we're real. God is more real than us. We're just made up thoughts and feelings that we make up thoughts and feelings to explain what we think and what we feel. It's just a dynamic field of energy, conscious energy, and you are with that. You can feel all alone. You can feel like a mistake. You can feel helpless and angry and afraid. You can feel whatever you want to feel, or give yourself to God. Give yourself to God, the mystery of life, just to let it go. Let the world go away. Allow yourself just to disappear into the nothingness, the silence that's behind your thoughts, into the nothingness and the silence that's in the being. There's no denying your being. You get to be, you are. So allow yourself to be with peace as you are, in the silence and the stillness, in the presence of the one who is the I am. And breathe into the I am. Feel the comfort of the I am. Feel the comfort of that power and energy. Feel it surround you and comfort you to bring forth the wholeness into your energetic body, your physical body, into the present moment, so that you are lost in God with love, which is exactly where you're intended to be, lost in love with God. So be lost with love, with God, who is everything, and allow yourself to be found with a clear mind. Allow yourself to be found with a clear conscience. Allow yourself to be found free from attachments, free from the what ifs, free from it all. Allow yourself to become free, because that's the essence of who you are. What God created is glorious. Don't diminish the glory of your brilliance, your light, your power. Don't allow yourself to be diminished, because if you diminish you, you create an example for others that it's okay to dim the light. I try not to do that anymore. I really do. I try to stay out of the Jack pity party, or at least stop sharing it so publicly, man. I don't have to cry over everything, but I do. I cry over anything. Anything beautiful, anything sweet, especially with kids and freaking puppies and kittens, dude. Air Supply, I was never a big fan, Arctic Timberwolf. Um, Jack is way too smart. He knows more than us, most of us. He doesn't need advice or to listen to other people. I've never said that. I've never said that at all. I don't know. AA is a backdoor escape route for the academically uninclined, that they may remedy their conscience and, at a minimum, remedy their belligerent and vulgar, unrestricted, hedonic personality traits. A backdoor escape route for the academically uninclined. That's kind of a judgmental or a little indignation in the description there, as though there's some sort of superiority to attending a class schedule and regurgitating prescribed information. See, some people overvalue the education system, and I don't mean to disparage it, because I know there's value in it. Hey, thank you, TJ. Jack's wisdom, character, and knowledge have grown in the short time. Thank you. God has been blessing me with many opportunities to practice. Get better, Jack, right? Stop getting worked up. Stop dropping down into the arguments. I mean, there really is no point in arguing with a fool. When a fool's mind is made up and you argue with someone who's not receiving, you're arguing against a wall. It's just a movable statue. You can't win. And how many hours has Jack Talcott spent attempting to negotiate, is what I've told myself I was trying to do. I'm attempting to negotiate through the arguments and the bitterness to try and connect to human beings. But I've spent a lot of time dropping down into the energies of argument and temper tantrums, getting to my own feelers, my pity party. And I know Jack can become a real bitter bitch. I know. I don't deny that. But this is what makes it so funny. This character of who I am, this story I'm living, what God is doing is freaking hilarious, man. It is so much fun being me. And I hope it's fun being you. Because if it's not fun being you, well, what can we do? What can we do today to bring more fun into you? It might not be the ideal situation, and maybe the timing isn't right to, just let go and go wild and go have some fun. But with whatever you're doing, what can you do to bring more joy into you? If you're not bringing joy into you through the choices you're making and what you're doing, you might be enabling your own self-sabotage. And I'd like you to stop that. I'd like you to reconsider, because it's not that hard. It's really not hard to stop habits, to change patterns. Once you face your fears of change, oh, I don't know how. Oh, I'm be so afraid. Oh, if I lost them. Oh, if I did this. Oh, you can't You can't make this shit up. People worry about all sorts of imagined things. That's what people do. That's how we're designed. You can spend hours and days and weeks and months worrying and planning and strategizing and stressing and doing everything but enjoying. See, we only get to live this lifetime as far as we can tell. I'm no genius boss. I believe Alcoholics Anonymous discourages intellectual pursuit. No. Also discourages civic participation. Not directly, rather through narrative control. I don't agree with that. Not in the slightest. Now, individuals who attend, they are discouraged from representing the program and the program as themselves. My words or my opinions, they have no association to the organization or its anonymity, its rules. No, it's an amazing program. It's helped a lot of men and women regain some sanity in this world that normalizes addictions. It normalizes wars. It normalizes lies in the media. This world is not healthy, brothers and sisters. As Christian, whatever his name was, it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to such a profanely sick society. And this society we have is represented by the commander in chief, Donald Trump. I'm not disparaging the academically uninclined. I'm disparaging a system who might encourage the continuance of ignorance or foolishness. I don't agree with that assessment of the program because my interpretation of the program, it's intended for us to grow. It promotes the growth of and continuity of education and personal development. It's fascinating. I felt when they told me the higher power could be a doorknob, the key was to give your power away. Seemed asinine, but I was young. It is true. One must realize the limits of their power, otherwise they continue fighting as a fool. Should Paul just go get a driver's license and register his vehicle? I wouldn't suggest that at all. I would suggest him to do as he wants, how he is guided by the spirit of freedom and love and righteousness, and do as he feels right, just as he's been doing. But for all others, I encourage people to look at the choices you're making. What is appropriate? What is and is not appropriate for you? Where are your values? What do you authentically care about? And what are the authentic consequences of what you're a part of? This, becoming a part of something. Much love. I am feeling inspired, so blessings and thank you. The purpose is to receive a spiritual life, to become one with the life you've lived, and then grow that to the fullest extent that God allows. As a Christian, shouldn't you render unto Caesar and ask Paul to register his car? I should do nothing more than inform you, all of you, my brothers and sisters here on earth. Let me take a moment to fulfill what I feel is my obligation to help inform you that the good news is true. You are loved by God. Should you seek forgiveness from God, you will receive it. And if you receive forgiveness from God, you can certainly share it. And if you're willing to live with faith, with love, without fear, God is there for you. So the gospel is the good news. The good news is love has won. This is the story that's being written that you and I are a part of here in this Jesus timeline. By Jesus being and in his nature, and then the progression of distribution of the knowing and stuff, spreading Jesus around the world, creating the concept in the subconscious, in the conscious, in the hearts of men and women all around the world. Love won. Love has already won. See, the Spirit of Jesus is eternal. It's here, it's present, but God controls the realization. God controls the revealing. Not everyone gets to know everything. Each of us are limited on what we can experience. What we can experience is greatly limited based on what we choose to seek. I encourage you, as a Christian, as a follower of the way that Jesus taught, as a follower of that, I encourage you and invite you, turn to God often, with joy, with gratitude, with delight at the fact that breath is magic. It keeps you alive. And despite the appearances of things, things can be quite tragic. There's no denying that. But if you allow yourself to be present with the will of God, if the will of God is like I think, the will is for you to feel loved, to know that you are loved, to live like you are loved, to live like no one else has lived before. Because you are. You are living as no one else has. There's similarities to you and me, but there's differences. These differences don't really matter as much as people want to think. Our religions, our genders, our politics, our economics, none of that shit makes any difference in the end. In the end, all that matters is, did you do good? Did you do good with what you did, with what you could? Did you do the right things with everything that you received? Were you wise or were you foolish? And then life really is 50-50. It's that simple. Life is 50-50. It's either real or it's not. It's either true or it's untrue. It's either good or it's bad, right? You either win or you don't. It's like it is. Life is 50-50, so just flow with that. Flow with the 50-50. You might get betrayed, you might not. You might get robbed, you might not. You might die, you might not. Okay, so what? Which way does it matter? All that matters is right now. And so if you go through life and go through your day with it's 50-50, but be 100% all in on the choices you make. I'm choosing this because I can make this, I can do this. Do it. Do it, man. Just whatever's going to make you big, greater, whatever's going to fulfill your spirit of desire, the honest one, the authentic part of you. There's an authentic part of you, the Holy Spirit within you. It is already greatness. Don't deny it. Don't diminish the greatness within you. Don't prevent yourself from speaking up, from being honest, from admitting, from confessing. Don't prevent yourself from doing what is right. If you don't stop you from doing what is right, I don't think that anyone can. Especially if you know what is right. And brothers and sisters, I feel like I know what is right. I know what it means to live with honesty, to live authentically with faith, to make choices that, they're not pleasant, but you know that they're aligned with your values of fairness and righteousness. Because, see, I am a man who knows that the natural order of life, the law that was written and shown through Jesus, that law is righteousness and justice. Justice and righteousness are the natural order for life. And I suggest that Donald Trump and the men and women of Congress, they are blindly going along and ignoring the severe consequences of their inactions, their inability to come to agreements, to bring peace to the world, to bring reforms, to make sure that every human, we have everything we need here on earth right now on the publicly available and distributed technologies. I'm not even considering the stuff that's hidden behind paywall, government projects and secret government organization or corporate organizations. I'm not talking about that. Just from the basic, commonly known technologies, mechanizations, the infrastructure we've got here on Earth, should we find the willingness, period. That's all that's waiting. Should we find the willingness, we've got everything we need. We can transform this world here on Earth, raising the standard of living for everyone. And it won't take much. It simply takes agreement. The agreement by the state leaders to end the wars. The agreement by the banking people and the corporate people. We're going to stop exploiting people. How about that? The government does its job and protects the people from the corporations and from exploitation. How about we just bring fairness and righteousness into the world? Why? Because we can. What would that be like? Well, Jack, that would disrupt everything, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. It would disrupt it all, but just temporarily. A temporary little pause all around the world. We just pause the commerce, pause the wars, pause the punishments. We continue to care for ourselves and each other, but we pause just long enough to be grateful that we live. And then we can be grateful that we're all in this together and we're all committed to changing. Now, we may not immediately have every single human. There might be exceptions, sure. Communication at this time in the world, it's only so great, but we can share the word pretty quickly that, hey, change is happening. Wars are ending. The debts are going to be forgiven. We're finding new ways, but everyone, the only requirement is we must be reasonable. All of us. We've all got to be fair. We've all got to be reasonable. We've all got to be honest with each other. That's the only requirement for a better world. Why is that so difficult for me to communicate? Why is it so challenging for others to come to consider or to think about? A better world exists through better people, better communities, better families, better nations. It's all found through better people. Well, what makes a man or a woman better? Is it how much power, how much money, how much? How about we slow down? We join together as men and women who are alive and healthy here on Earth today. Let's create an intervention. We can do it. Anyone who's tuning in now or later, if wars and reforms have not yet happened yet, please feel free to reach out. I'm hoping to create a movement. I'm hoping to create the opportunity. We speak to the men and women serving the United States Congress and the White House. Donald Trump could arrange it with Congress, or we get enough people in Congress to agree. We'll get it happen with Donald Trump. It can all happen together. We're only a few degrees of separation, every one of us. So the key to success is simply getting the right ideas, the right people together at the right time. Well, the time is now. We live today. What's happening right now? Donald Trump is missing out on opportunities. He, by position and the choice of the masses, he holds the position of very powerful influence. His words, should he choose the right words, could easily convince Benjamin Netanyahu to tell his military to stand down. It could happen. I have faith in Donald Trump that he's capable of far more than he's realized. And me, as a man who's committed to growth, to honor, integrity, to ending wars, you listening today, you have the opportunity to try and help a man like me communicate with Donald Trump. I've said some things today regarding preventing others from self-sabotage. That's the idea. I said some words kind of hope directing towards him. And I know there's any way that these words can reach him. There's many ways I can get his attention. And I'm pretty sure this is what God wants me to do. Because whether I succeed or not, ending wars and bringing reforms, if I succeed or not in growing greater numbers, greater viewers, greater content, if I succeed or not, I am enjoying myself. And I've received positive feedback and a lot of negative feedback, but I truly do hope those who have found the Jack Talcott story and the Live Without Fear, I truly hope you can feel a little bit better about yourself. I'm going to start wrapping it up. The link is still pinned for those who may be present, but there's no reason for me to continue if I'm just running on old ideas. And I never know what is best. I never know what people may want. You can be one of the, well, hey, yeah, I've seen that. And this is incredible. It's obvious what they're doing. It's brilliant in its purpose. Bringing over the influencers, show them a wonderful story and have them go share the propaganda. It's how corruption works, man. It's all through willingness. It's all through temptation. I don't think I'll be chosen as one of those the state of Israel brings immediately over, because I'm pretty vocal about my views, which is why I'd really like to speak with Donald Trump. See, he and I both, I can say we both care about America and the people within it. Now, his version of the people he cares about, he excludes, right, a good chunk of the people. Those who didn't vote for him, and of course, that corrupted liberals. Those corrupted liberals. Every fool's got to have an enemy. And I really do. I think I can help Donald Trump look less foolish. Because I don't think this came out clearly. Having an imagination, understanding his type, he is about ego, and he's already building up the donations to have the presidential library, and he's getting the jet from Qatar, and he's all about impressing and legacy. So he's going to make sure his story is told the way he wants it told. But here's the thing. The truth doesn't give a shit about what people want. And the truth matters. And Donald Trump doesn't actually realize the legacy that he's creating. He's got people telling him he's in line for a Nobel Peace Prize and he's doing so good. And his team, they're doing so great. It's almost flawless. It's almost a perfect presidency that this man is doing. But we all know it's not. We all know. You gotta know. You gotta know this theatrics. You gotta know it's corrupted. Now, if you know it's corrupted and you know it's theatrics, you gotta stop believing that it can't be stopped. Because the only reason this nonsense theatrics of an authoritarian president, oh no, yeah, these things that are coming out in the news, it's time, brothers and sisters, it is time for we, the people, to get control of our democracy, to take it back from the corporations, right? Citizens United, and it's been a long, slow play, right? The folks who want to control and own the world, dominate and manipulate everybody else, they've been working a long range plan. It's been a slow play. Started with the Federal Reserve here in America, and then it progressed from there, all these little regulations and rules. And then what was the more recent one that was I was just reminded of? Well, of course, the bailouts and the Patriot Act and what was it? Federal Reserve, the IRS, the tax system. Well, it's just been a big old game of nonsense, right? Control the money supply. It matters not who's in government. The truth is the truth. And brothers and sisters, we lost control of our government. The freedom of America has been sold away to the corrupted, because the corrupted don't give a damn about freedom. They care about power. So while our ancestors, while we were going along with works and jobs and all these other things, trying to live our lives, corruption has taken over. So I suggest it's time, brothers and sisters, that you and me, we the people, we unite together. It might appear awkward at first, but I know there's ways to make this happen. We get some godly voices in front of the men and women of Congress, and especially Donald Trump. And as people, we take control of our government. When our government is not sold out to the bankers, then we know the people have the power. Okay. But until this debt clock keeps growing and ticking, that just shows the American people, you have no power. We're spending your money and you're not doing anything. That's what that debt clock is doing. I should have had it pulled up. Maybe I'll do stuff like that later. Oh, you know what? Made by Jim Bob. Jack, if you meet the pedo billionaires you claim you want to meet and don't end wars, you'll just have met pedo billionaires. That is true. That is true. But Jack, in today's day and age, it's irresponsible to not question someone's motives when they say they want to meet billionaire pedophiles, especially if their reason is to end wars, an impossible goal. Okay. Will you please, trusting this is the Made by Jim Bob, blessings and thank you, man. I am a fan of you and your work. I'd love to have a conversation about what you have identified as an impossible goal. Okay. Particularly since we seem to ally in beliefs of spirit and religion, if I'm not mistaken. We could be off. I know we've got some disagreements, but I do believe in miracles. I believe that no thing is impossible. And I swear to God, this goal to end wars, I can't get it out of my mind. I can't get it out of my heart. I've tried to find other things and other excuses. And once I found what I found, once I learned what I learned, once I've seen what I've seen, I can't unsee it and I can't undo it. And so if I'm not crazy about what I think I can accomplish, let's see if we can give me a chance to try. Let's see if I can speak to some of these billionaires who are, responsible for administering. They've been appointed to these positions in the United States government. Let me see if I can speak with Donald Trump and his team, share what I see, what's going on, see if they agree with me or they don't agree with me. But I'd sure want the conversation to be public, that's for sure. Because I'm a man who wants to end the government secrecy. I want the people to overcome these illusions of authority. Let's obey what is righteous. Let's obey that which is true. Let's unite together for justice, for reformation. I mean, this is kind of, in an abstract way, this is in line with the fundamentals of Christianity. The idea of a church is a body that unites together with a common value of a love for God, the same God, not divided into different traditions or interpretations, but simply united with the love for the same God, aligning with the same values. Now, I lost where I was going with this thought, but what the churches were really there to do, the idea and the principle of the church is to go to our neighbors and say, hey, have you met God yet? Have you heard the stories of God's love? Do you know God's love for yourself? That's what the teachings of Jesus was for. It's a twisted, distorted story of pain as love, but it's really the path to overcome. Because if you can stay strong in your times of pain, if you can push through the periods of struggle, when life is unfair, and if you can keep your mind, maintain your presence through the pain, through the struggle and the discomfort, but forward focus, right? That feeling of health, that feeling of restoration, that feeling of love, of success. Allow yourself to feel the feelings of, with anticipation, with excitement, because that's what faith is about, brothers and sisters. Faith is about excitement, anticipation, right? And miracles, miracles, and more miracles. Truly, you align with God as a child of God, being a peacemaker here on earth. Follow the logic there from the Sermon on the Mount, from the, what's the word? The Beatitudes? Those who are peacekeepers will be the children of God. And so be a child of God for yourself. Be honest, be true, be pure, be you. And then, as a child of God, recognize miracles are your birthright, as is justice. Justice is your birthright. Now, the world will deny you justice. The world will show you how unfair it is. People will show you how unfair the world is. People will show you how cruel they are. You don't have to ask them, they'll show you. And a lot of times they don't even mean to. A lot of times they're just being normal. That's how I am. Sometimes my normal is downright offensive. And I didn't recognize how rude I used to be. But I've been learning what I've learned. And I'm seeing some of the nonsense in the chat. And I'm seeing some great support in the chat. And I am loving you guys all. I think let me go ask all my neighbors if they met God yet. I'll be right back. Austin, I friggin' love you. You're hilarious, man. But truly the point is God's love. Have you met, and I can say that. I can. Do I go door to door and say these things to people? No, I don't. But I do believe this is what I do believe that this is what the churches were truly intended for, was to help people realize the true loving nature of God, to help people realize the amazing miracles that are found in community, in a healthy community with right values, not doctrine, not this blood sacrifice and punishment and class superiority that some people take. Burning Tongue, I love you and your nonsense, but to wish that, it's probably already true. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I am on a federal watch list. I've had a lot of accusations and things made against me, and there's a lot of perhaps questionable facts that might cause people to look twice at me. But I tell you what, who I am a friggin' crazy story of life. I'm just like many others, but my goals are unique. Brothers and sisters, I'm convinced ending wars is a possibility. I know it's a probability. I know that for humanity to have a greater future, it's a requirement for wars to end. And that includes the corporate wars and the drug wars and the chemical warfare and the biological warfare and the psychological warfare. And it just means ending the conflicts. And the best way to end conflicts is to bring in the almighty power of the truth. Let's bring in the truth and allow the truth to be shown, allow the truth to be seen about what is. And what is, God is true. God's love is true. I found it for myself, and I hope to share it here with you. So I hope you can find some glimpses of God's love for yourself. It's found in the joy, it's found in the laughter, it's found in that just passion and attraction and with beauty and just these moments of life that take your breath away. That's where truly the power of God is known. So focus on those and enjoy yourself. I'm going to wrap it up from here. And until next time, choose love. Peace for everyone. I'm going to do this again. In the description today, I didn't do one single shout out today, but in the description is a link for Awaken with Jack and Barnabas, which we went ahead and recorded and streamed earlier today. So, brothers and sisters, if you may have missed the earlier discussions, and as we wrap up here, feel free to tune into the link. I put it down there for your convenience. So, till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again. God bless us all. Peace.